So, welcome everyone to Graduate Professional Success in STEM program at UC Irvine. We were previously called GPS Biomed because it was funded by a different grant. So my name is Harinder Singh, and I'm the program director of the program. I was the associate director before, and Dr. Fruman, who is here, Dr. Fruman was the previous director of NIH-sponsored NIH Best sponsored GPS Biomed program. David, would you like to say anything before we get started with our very brief presentation?
Sure. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see so many people here for the registration orientation. So I was a PhD program director from 2011 to 2015 when I began to appreciate that apart from the tremendous academic and scientific training that we could provide here at UCI, that there was something missing, which was the professional development and all the soft skills needed to succeed in a variety of career paths, both within and outside academia. So I applied as PI for one of these NIH Best grants, and there were 17 awarded over 2 years, and UCI was one of those 17 sites and the only one in Southern California. And it's been exciting over the past 7 years now to build this program, first with Emma Flores Kim and now with Harinder Singh, and to see it grow and develop and expand to different disciplines. And it's really been a success. And it kind of, I think I felt a culture change here at UCI, both with students, postdocs, and as well as with faculty and administrators, that we take a holistic approach to training, and we want to support you from when you arrive until when you leave in pursuing your dreams and finding you the career that you find fulfilling and rewarding, and giving you the skills to do that. So that's our goal. It's especially important right now in these pandemic times and with uncertainty with the virus, but also politics and weather, to know that the university is thinking about you and your future, and that we have programs to help prepare you for that. And some of these also involve coping with stress and uncertainty, and we're big sponsors of those sorts of activities as well. So I won't take any more time. I just want to encourage you all to participate to the extent that you can. It might change over time as you get more close to the next transition point, but the resources are there, and please take advantage of them. So go ahead, Harinder, take it from here.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Fruman. So as Dr. Fruman was mentioning, this is the only program in the Southern California region, which is very unique compared to other career and professional development programs like Graduate Division or Postdoc Affairs offices exist in all the different institutes. But this is a unique program, which, as David said, like a couple of, 17 different sites, and UCI was lucky to have that. So when you're in academic training, UCI does an amazing job, and academics do an amazing job to prepare you for academic training. However, when you look at the data, a large majority of them, due to funding reasons or the changing interest reasons, transition into non-academic careers. So we really want to make sure that you are prepared before you start looking into those alternative careers. And additionally, we also want to emphasize on the academic careers because we've heard from our PIs and other people who are on the hiring committee saying that the quality of faculty candidates has also been kind of going down over the period of time. So these are the programs which really help to fill that void by imparting science communication skills and really helping to, build your communication skills as a scientist. So main focus of the program for first 5 years has been to prepare you for a variety of careers which come out of PhD and postdoctoral training. And not much of information and knowledge is out there. Our program tries to provide that information. So this not only helps students and postdocs to become skilled researchers, but also polished professionals right now, so that you do not have to spend a lot of time after you graduate to find what might be the right career for you if you fit in, or you can transition and be successful there. So why career and professional development programming? To be very honest, if I were to share my experience, and I'm sure David would agree, that when we were PhD students and postdocs, we didn't really have this kind of career and professional development programs at our respective institutions. And that this program really helps you to understand how the academic career, like how academic enterprise has changed over the period of time. So the traditional model of academia in the past has been you do your PhD, you do your undergrad, master's, PhD, do a postdoc, and then mainly people got into academia, research, or industry, teaching careers. And then some of them, because industry and research careers are directly related to the academic research, people transition into that because it's relatively has been easier. But then other people slowly, by different ways, whether it's biomedical or other STEM related careers, non-academic careers, they transition into. However, there was no like enough training for that. So the NIH BEST grant, which David was mentioning earlier, it was a broadening experiences in scientific training, giving you a broader training while you're still an academic trainee. So during your PhD training, you get involved in multiple different professional development activities right here in PhD. And then if you are transitioning to PhD postdoc, or if you think that it helps to get a postdoc before you transition to multiple different careers, then you get into postdoc, and even during the postdoc period, you keep preparing for these different careers you have going on. Okay. And so this has been the model, and the model has changed. And then NIH and National Science Foundation, a lot of granting agencies are actually trying to emphasize this model, that you're prepared for things right now before you transition. Let's see. So when you're thinking of transitioning into different careers, there you have to keep in mind, whether it's academia or beyond academia, there are some skills which are in high demand for any kind of career. So you're in academia, you're in PhD postdoc training. This is a time when you're still building your careers, skill set. So this is where your skills are skill loading as you're working in a lab or teaching, TA. And but keep in mind that there, as a PhD, by the time you get out of your PhD, you already have a lot of these skills which are called transferable skills. And the list right here are some of the skills which industry or academic sector, higher education looks for. You have to be a great communicator. Public speaking has to be one skill, which you'll be doing a lot, whether you stay in academia, do teaching, or you get into industry. You have to work within teams and leadership roles. You have to understand the business concepts, whether it's academia, industry. Should be able to multitask, project management, networking. So we'll get to that very soon. But then keep in mind, these are the things which you already do, or you will be doing as you're going through your PhD postdoctoral training. So so basically what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make you realize that there is really not a big difference between what you will be doing outside. You're already doing that, and you just have to sort of repackage your skills and then sell it as if you are that right candidate to get into that field or the next career. So we have a 4-pillar model of our program. So there has to be a little bit of a philosophy behind our program, which is, first of all, you have to know what might be the best career for you, depending on what your skills, interests, and values are. So you have to do some sort of like skill scan, strength finder. There are a lot of different programs out there. If you're a STEM non-biomedical trainee, I would highly recommend to you, I mean, even biomedical trainees, you should read Strengths Finder. This book has been amazing. You can learn a lot about what your quality strengths are, and you should focus on that. Maybe weaknesses, you can work a little bit, but it'll tell you like, maybe this is a career path you should not pursue. SkillScan is another sort of a software. So far, it's actually UCI, I think, has a subscription. You can go online and do the SkillScan. But what we've been using for past 5 years, individual development plan, my individual development plan. This is primarily for a biomedical scientist, and then chemistry folks have something called as Chem IDP. They can use that, which will give you like almost like 22 different careers where you might fit in, and then you can start preparing for that right now. So our 4-pillar model basically, first of all, helps you to explore different careers which are out there based on these skill scan and IDP and all these softwares. And then we provide you specific training for a couple of careers you think, okay, that's where I might fit in. So I would like more training for that. And as you're getting the training, we also try to give you that experience, how it is to work in that career before you transition there. So you get a taste of, what that whole field is like. Once you've gone through these three steps, we help you with career transition. We provide you avenues to transition easily into these careers. And I'll talk in detail about all these steps and how many different activities we do within those pillars. So the first one is exploring different careers. So, as I said, we help you to, make you aware about diverse careers. Some of the events, we have a couple of events. One of them, the most popular one, is usually we do it at noon. It used to be in person. We would provide lunch and all that. Unfortunately, that's not possible right now. But still, we've seen, a surge in number of people who are attending these afternoon events. So it's called Life Beyond the PhD. And whenever I start this event, I always say there is life beyond PhD. This is not the end. In fact, it's very bright right after you finish your PhD. So during these events, we try to bring in our alumni and other professionals who've gone through PhD training and who are working in many different job sectors right now. So they do like 15, 20 minutes of their, like, either PowerPoint or their career journey and talk specific about their job. And then there's a Q&A session where you'll get to ask specific questions. These are examples of some of the events we've done in the past with the business concepts. Julius is our alumni. And then we've also had one event with someone who got their PhD in molecular biology, and then now they're working in beer and wine industry. To few more examples, Duke was also part of our program. He works in a startup now very far from us, here in University Lab Partners, which is within the UCI Beal Applied Innovation. So this is a very shorter, smaller event. You connect just 1 hour, you come and then listen to their career journey, ask them specific questions, and then you move on. But then we have more detailed event, which is the career networking night. So basically, we do a panel discussion, bring in panelists who are working in those different career sectors, and we pick a different topics every time. And then in the end, you get to do networking with them. So in-person networking, again, there was food and beer and everything, but that's not possible. You can bring your own food and beer now. But we do e-networking. There are Zoom breakout rooms, which does allow us to, offer that opportunity to still be able to stay connected online. So this is the guy you might be, as you're starting and trying to figure out, like, where should I go, and these are the programs which you're offering will help you to give that exposure to different careers. So teaching careers is something. These are the two events. This event is coming up very soon. I'll add that in the chat. You guys can RSVP, or if you are in our listserv, you'll be getting those emails about the event. We've organized events on science writing, regulatory affairs, industry research careers. And another one which is coming up now is careers in nonprofits. A lot of scientists, PhD level, even master's, undergrad, they actually work in nonprofit sector. And you need to know from these people who've gone through all this training. And some of them actually run their own organization. They hire a lot of undergrad, masters, PhD, and postdoc level people. So this is another opportunity to not only listen to 4 people who are working in the same career, 4 or 5, but then you get to network with them and ask specific questions. And then these are the networks which you're building right now will help you a lot in future to when you're ready to transition to those careers. This is an example of how we are doing everything online now in webinar format. And after that, we get into breakout rooms. So then we get into the train part. You really need that training, to transition into those careers or learn, what one of the biggest skill set which is needed. We give you training right now. So some of the foundation skills which you will need, whether you stay in academia or get into any career, is communication skills. So we have this workshop by Bree McWhorter. She runs Effective Communication Skills for Scientists. It's a certificate program. And the second one is elevator pitch workshop. And then there's an elevator pitch competition. So there's a workshop coming up on November 2nd. And after she runs this workshop, there'll be one-on-one sessions with the students. And then the students and postdocs and will participate in the elevator pitch competition, during which you can actually talk either about your research, you can talk about any other passion you have. If you've been volunteering outside, or any other outside interests you have, you can talk about those interests. And so this is really impactful. You can see that people who we've heard a lot of research talks and all that. You can see people who've gone through this training, it gets reflected in their research talks. And another thing about the elevator pitch is that this is a very short 2-minute pitch. It's open to PhD students, postdoc. You can pick any topic. And we used to do this thing at UCI Beal Applied Innovation, larger venue, but now this is happening online. We did our last one online. I would highly recommend that because imagine when, I mean, I'm trying to think of when I was a PhD student, and I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that here. When you have to present in journal clubs or research talks and everything, there is this, sense of intimidation. We are like scared. Like looking in front of like 200 people at an international conference. This Breeze workshop will really give you that confidence to face the audience and have that body language so that you're able to confidently engage your audience. That's what the organization she runs, Activate to Captivate. The next part, important foundational training element for our program, is Science Communication Skills course. So this is run by Sandra Singh Low from Lowdown on Science. She has a podcast on NPR called Lowdown on Science, and she's been coming for past 5-6 years on UCI campus to give this 10-week training in science communication skills to our students and postdocs. At the end of this 10-week long course, they end up recording their mini TED style talks, which are on our YouTube channel. If, based on your consent, we'll post them on YouTube. Otherwise, a lot of people actually use those talks to actually communicate with their family members, tell them, how awesome research they're doing. Some people end up putting that on your LinkedIn profile, their resume, so that other people can see how great you are at communicating your science. And then maybe Dr. Fruman will agree with me that, we've gone and sat through a lot of graduate day research talks, and you can really clearly see that some of the students and postdocs who've gone through this Sandra Singh Low's courses, and they are like such an amazing orators. They are able to effectively communicate their science, and really identify which audience they are talking to. If you want to learn more about these talks, some of the people who provided consent, their videos are on our YouTube channel, GPS10 UC Irvine YouTube channel. Now, I would like to give this to Dr. Fruman because when we transitioned to GPS-10 program, we wanted to ensure that we also provide academic advancement activities, which there is a lot of overlap in professional development, non-academic careers and academic. So we tried to provide that here. I'll give it to Dr. Fruman. You want to talk about the academic activities, David?
Sure, thanks, Rinder. Yeah, so the NIH funding was designed to help prepare students and postdocs for non-academic careers. And while some of the activities could also be, as Harinder said, the byproduct could help you in an academic career, we wanted to refocus a little bit or rebalance, since we had campus funding now and had more freedom to do other things. We wanted to really help prepare and encourage those who would like to pursue an academic career. And one way to do that is to provide training in how to write NIH fellowships. And these are really biomedical trainees who apply for NIH. And we hope to develop similar workshops for those who apply for NSF or Department of Energy down the road. But the goal is we started this workshop in the spring. It's a 9-week workshop with some lectures and some peer review of writing assignments for elements of the fellowship. And it was very well received, and we're going to turn it into an annual course that's offered with the collaboration of Graduate Division as a university studies course. So that was the first academic enhancement activity. We've also been partnering with associate deans to present the Nature Master Classes, which is where we've licensed this really helpful suite of webinars that Nature provides about how to write and publish. And so you have access to those. And then we sprinkle in other activities like this visualizing science activity coming up about how to make great figures, how to talk about your data or your models, and then visits from editors of journals like we had last week from Cell Reports. How do you navigate the publication world? Now, obviously, these are useful activities whether or not you stay in academia. Getting fellowships and learning how to publish papers will serve you well in any career. But we've really started to expand, and will continue to expand these sorts of activities to try to give the holistic training that I talked about to help you prepare for whatever you would like to do. And I've always tried to walk the fine line here as a director of a program, and now academic director of a program that's sending a lot of people off the academic track, which isn't really my primary goal. My goal is to help people find the career that they are best suited for and find fulfilling. And for many people, that is academia. I've been a professor here for 20 years. I've had opportunities to move to industry, but I've always stayed because I love the academic environment. I love working with students and postdocs. I love teaching and academic freedom. And, you know, it's not easy writing grants, but it can be actually interesting and fun. So there's a lot of advantages to pursuing an academic career. And I think a lot of students get discouraged somehow and decide to leave because they feel like it's not articulated to them what the advantages are. So I want everybody to know that we're not trying to disincentivize academic careers or discourage you from pursuing them, and that if that's a possibility for you and something you consider, that we'd like to help you get there. So that's the goal of the academic enhancement activities. It's rebalancing a bit to give you the holistic preparation you need. And with that, before I turn it back to Harinder, I'll just say that speaking of teaching, I actually have to teach at 5 o'clock, little snafu in my schedule, so I can't stay till 5:30 to answer questions, but I'm sure you can get your questions answered from Harinder. I want to thank the guest speaker at the end, and I look forward to seeing many of you at future activities. Good luck, stay safe, and hang in there.
Thank you, David. So as David was saying, you know, these are the academic activities we perform. And, you know, again, these are also very unique ones, which, of course, when David and I start to plan and prepare the curriculum for different programs, we always go online and look at what's been published and what works and what challenges people face in building these activities and, you know, how successful those programs have been. So pretty much a lot of the academic activities, advancement activities have come out of culmination of like really distill down the best practices from those academic activities. And we built that into our programming here. So with that, the next part of the crane, you know, once you understand, you know, you've gone through this training in communication skills we talked about, you know, which can be applied to academic presentations and research and, you know, making your best diagrams. We try to give you these mini courses and certificate programs which are focused on that specific career which you might want to get into in future. One of the examples is the business concept for STEM scientist course. This is a course which is in collaboration with UCI Beal Applied Innovation. It's been one of the most popular courses amongst the STEM trainees, where they learn about business model canvas, you know, how does a business enterprise works, if they're planning to patent their technology and maybe move into, you know, starting their own startup company or something, work in a larger company. This gives you training on that. And at the end of this course, we always incentivize by, you know, this is a certificate program, and then there are some prizes because you almost do Shark Tank like business pitch, and there's a business pitch competition where we bring in hypothetical venture capitalists who gauge, you know, based on your pitch, they'll, you know, we pick the best ideas. The other course we've recently launched was in science and medical writing, and this was a very successful course because large majority of our trainees from biomedical PhDs, postdocs get into medical writing careers. So this was most apt to do that because we wanted to give that training right now so that they're successful and they know what to expect as they're getting into those careers. And also a lot of careers have these writing exams which you need to do. So during this certificate course, mini course, we provide that writing assignment and prepare you so that, you know, you're not taken by surprise when you get into those things. Now, David mentioned about the visualizing science. This is a mini boot camp we are doing. Again, you know, the idea why we are trying to do these mini courses and certificates is, you know, if we were to do like an event which is 5 modules and there is no relation with, you know, they're not related, and then you're not enrolled into that thing, then, I mean, be very honest, you know, after a point, like, you know, the attendance drops because you don't really see the bigger picture and you don't appreciate the bigger, you know, interconnected elements. So this has become a very popular, like, you know, the initiative in the train element to give those transferable skills, which you will use in future. Next, I want to talk about our collaboration with University Extension Courses, Division of Continuing Education. So all of you registered for the program and I got your information. Some of you did IDP, and then you had to go on LinkedIn and become members, and you had to sign up for the newsletter and all that. So, and then today you're attending this in-person or virtual orientation. Some of you may have just watch the videos which we had posted on YouTube. And that's fine as long as you did that to understand the program, how it works. And after this, you're going to start attending some of the events. So our program keep tracks of your data, the number of events you're attending. We used to have a model of professional development credits, which we will see that how many events you attended, number of hours you have participated in the program, and then based on that we'll give you certain credits, and those credits accrue over time as you're attending the events. Now once you have attended certain critical mass number of events, which is like 5 to 6, you have the opportunity to enroll into Division of Continuing Education courses, which are $700 worth of courses on many different topics, ranging from data science, business management, leadership, and drug device, drug discovery stuff. And a lot of our trainees have taken those courses and found it very useful. So this is an excellent opportunity, which I would highly encourage for you to take these courses. But for you to take those courses, you have to go through the whole training process and attend some of the events. Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. Perfect. So next, let's get into the experience part. As I was saying, once you've gone through exploring the careers, 4 or 5 careers you're interested to get into, and we give you that specific training. The first foundation communication skills can be applied to everything. Then we get into the experience that, okay, Harinder, now tell me, how do I, what is it, how does it look like to be working in that job sector? Can you give me that hands-on experience or shadowing someone internship? So this is the pillar where we give you that training. We take students and postdocs on industry site visits. These are some of the pictures on the site visits we've done in the past. And you go and visit. Usually these are half-day events. You go visit them. They walk you through the whole facility and how different units are there, how they function, and where do PhDs, postdocs are working in that sector. And then at the end of it, there is a networking event. You get to ask your specific questions from these industry leaders who are working in that industry. So that has been another very useful element of our program, where no other place gives you that hands-on experience. So this has led to automatically to internship opportunities. If you're one of those people who've gone to industry site visit, now the people who are working in that company. You connect with them on LinkedIn, and you write them an email, and they'll say, okay, you know what, we have an internship opportunity coming up. I know that you were there at the event, at the site visit. You should come and work with us. And that's your way, that's your foot into the door of getting into this industry. And other than outside campus units, we work with all these different examples I've put here. But within UCI also, UCI Applied Innovation and Office of Research, they do have internship sort of opportunities which you can participate in. A lot of times these are very formal internships where you get paid. Of course, you have to take permission from your PI if that they are okay to leave, for you to leave the lab and participate in this internship. But a lot of times these are very soft and internship, as I call them, like shadowing opportunities. You just go and spend like maybe 1 hour, 2 hours a week, and then do it for a couple of weeks. And this still gives you the taste of that, how that industry functions. Then you build the connections right there, and then it helps you to transition into those roles. So it's almost like a talent building pipeline sort of a model we are using here, and it's been very successful. Large number of our alumni who went through our program, they said that the experience part, industry site visits, internships, that was the most impactful element. Now let's come to the last part. Once you've gone through all this, now you're like, okay, Harinder, I've gone through all this thing. Now I need your help to transition into. I mean, you might think that, okay, I've learned everything. I'm good at it. I'm going to apply and I'm going to get the job. Not quite the case. It's a totally different ball game. You got to build your resume based on the job you're applying. You need to have a very special, polished cover letter. You need to have a very professional LinkedIn profile. So we provide those opportunities. We partner with Division of Career Pathways to give you resume writing, cover letter writing workshops. There are LinkedIn workshop series we run, LinkedIn Basic, Intermediate, and Advanced. Given this is pandemic, and we've done a lot of events online, and then all the recordings of these events on the 3 LinkedIn workshops are posted on our GPSTEM YouTube channel. You can tap into that and watch it at your own pace. But we'll try to do it again so that you're able to ask specific questions from these people. We also do things where we bring in recruiters. we get their sense of like, what do they really look for in candidates when they are hiring them, is it that their publication, how many awards they've gotten, or what should they be, what do they look in the resume or cover letter of a person when they're hiring them? These events have been very successful. And another way to actually really connect and easily transition is doing networking events. So we partner with a lot of Orange County's networking organizations, one of them being Device Alliance. Orange County, for those of you who are not aware, Orange County is the biggest hub in the United States, I think after San Antonio, maybe before San Antonio, in medical devices. So it's a huge medical device industry here, and Device Alliance is one of those networking organizations. Then you have MedTech Innovation Exchange and Biotech Network. So we partner with them to offer this MedTech mega mixers where we have around 400 to 500 people, industry professionals and students, postdocs come and network with them. So that's your excellent way to actually talk to people, exchange business cards, which is not happening in person now, but then, there's still networking opportunities being offered by these organizations. And so once you've gone through that, another thing is now, well, I need to talk to someone who can help me, really give me a taste of how things work there, maybe an informational interview to learn more about what the job is about. So we run something called this alumni networking, alumni mentoring program. So this is a program where we connect you with alumni, and then there's a mentor-mentee dyad is built, and then you work with your mentors and learn about jobs and how to transition. What should you put in your resume? How is it to be, working in that job? Maybe there will be some internship opportunities come out of that. So these are some of the profiles of the mentors who were there for 2019 mentoring program. And this year, 2020 mentoring program is still ongoing. And one of our mentor from 2020 program is here today. She's going to be talking to you for a few minutes and explaining what the successful parts, what she loved about the program. And she, in fact, Lauren she served as mentee in 2019 program. So that's a really real practical example that, she was a mentee, she learned those things, and now she's serving, coming back and serving as a mentor. So I would highly encourage you, all of you, to participate in this thing. Usually these are helpful when you are in your post candidacy phase, or if you're a postdoc, take like 6 months to sort of like adapt into your new lab so that PI doesn't go looking for you. Where's my postdoc? So after 6 months, I would say, once you have a better idea about what you want to do, where you want to transition into, then participate in these mentoring programs. So you cannot talk about policy without, or you cannot, what is that? So you cannot talk about career professional development training and applying your scientific skills into society without talking about policy, right? And we are in the middle of pandemic. We have this election season coming up. Without getting into too much political details and all that, you really need to be aware how to engage the audience, engage the community members, and making them realize the importance of science you're doing. And additionally, a lot of you might be getting frustrated with the fact that we are not getting enough grants and the scientific funding is going down. And so we have this program called Public Policy Prep, which gives science policy and advocacy training for STEM scientists, which is PhD students and postdocs. This program was funded by Burroughs Wellcome Fund for first 3 years. And after that, we have been partnering with Journal of Science Policy Governance, Union of Concerned Scientists, Rich to Reef program at UCI to offer this certificate program in science policy for STEM scientists. These are some of our students who went to Capitol Hill, who were trained by this policy program, and then they campaigned for some of the issues which matter to them. And whether it's the research funding or scientific, specific topics based on the research they're doing. So again, this is another program, which is a long certificate program. We are almost coming to an end of it. We had like 12 different sessions. There'll be a policy pitch competition on November 9. I'll be sending advertisements out, and you can attend that pitch competition, see how they were trained all throughout the process of certificate program, and see how they're campaigning and talking to their senators, lawmakers, and staffers, and asking for that systemic change in policy surrounding that. Let's see. So bringing you back to where we started from, the the skills in high demand, which academia or industry looks for. So these are some of the, I try to connect it all together. For communication skills, Bree's elevator pitch workshop and effective communication skills, and Sandra's SciComm skills will help you to prepare for the communication and public speaking skills. When you take the business concepts course, this will help you to prepare you for business, learning the business entrepreneurship, leadership, and all those aspects. When you take the extension courses, you're going to get like this firsthand information and more curriculum uh, based training in these skill sets, which are important. Policy I talked about, you have to understand the whole like academic enterprise to campaign for your research topic or increase funding. The networking opportunities, which really go in to be able to tie it all together. Let's see. Okay. So this is another thing. Again, this is something we started like even before pandemic. We started GPS STEM radio, which is a nice way to connect you all to science policy folks, professionals who are alumni. They come back and they're on this interview for 20 minutes. They'll talk about their career journey and what they do, how you can get involved. We have another podcast on health and wellness. During this time, we're all struggling. I think there are many different ways we are trying to cope with it, but then sometimes it's difficult to ask for help. So we bring in mental health professionals who will help you to how to really maintain your calm in this difficult environment. And also, as you're going through your academic training, as I always say, like by third year is when you're going to start to hit rock bottom, and you're going to need some support. And therefore, with these podcasts, we try to make you aware that you're not alone. And these are common issues which every trainee faces when they are in training. And these are some of the ways you can cope with that. We recently launched the Career and Professional Development podcast. If you do not have time to come sit through events or it's too long, I'll watch through YouTube. Harinder, it was too long. Just tune into this podcast, which is going to be very short, 15 to 20 minutes. Listen to it as you're doing your regular everyday activities. And we're going to try to ramp up now, bring in a lot more speakers. So if you have, again, we are open to you giving us suggestions on who you would like to interview, like us to interview. We can either interview that person for you because that's the kind of career or the person's professional job you're interested in, or you say, okay, Harinder, I would like to interview this person. So we are open to that also. Just shoot me an email and I'll take care of things. And we'll do a little bit of training also for you if you need some training in how to communicate and interview people for podcasts. Happy to do that for you. Science Cafe, again, this is an innovative approach because you'll be doing a lot of technical writing. You'll be writing grants and papers, and but then wish there was some avenue where you could really like pour your heart out, your whole thing about how the grad school is going, or like we have some people who want to talk about their transition on how they went from grad school to postdoc and then faculty. So they write their thoughts, and feel free to like write anything, pick any topic. It could also be about your science, and just say that you would like to write something. Send us your first draft, and we have a whole board of editorial board which will help you polish and walk you, really train you through the whole writing process. And then it gets published on Science Cafe, which is a blog, GPS STEM blog, and we'll showcase on that. This is a great, excellent opportunity to put something on your resume, even after whatever kind of career you want to get into, because most of the careers look for good, excellent writing skills. This is the last one. I'm sure you're like, okay, Harinder, you're doing great, but I would like to work with my peers also. Some opportunity to sit with my peers and talk to them, that let's see how they are working on the career we're interested in. So we started this career cohorts. These are peer-to-peer cohorts where people who are interested in a certain career, like they come together and then discuss, okay, I think we need to have an event focus on this, and we need to bring in this speaker, and we need to create maybe a sense of community amongst our trainees so that we can all work together on this particular job or that particular career. So we have 4 or 5 of those career cohorts active right now. The others are still in making, and it's a slow process to build that and gain that momentum. The active cohorts are business and consulting for STEM scientists. Consulting is one career a lot of our scientists get into. So you can go on our website and look on the toolbar, create cohorts, get into business consult, BCSS, and connect with the people who run this cohort, tell them that you would like to meet with them, and they can start attending the meetings which they have monthly. We just started with the data science club. A majority of our non-biomedical, sometimes biomedical folks also get into data science as a career. So this is again a cohort built by PhD students and postdocs who are interested in data science. I meet with them once a month and they tell me what they want from me. And if you want to bring in a speaker, if there's an honorarium involved, I help you with that. And you just have to come up with an idea, an event, a training, and then you basically take the lead, gain that experience to easily transition to that career. So the science policy I just talked about, the art in science is another interesting one. So I really like, this is really close to my heart because I remember doing experiments in lab for 5 years and then 4 years in postdoc. I don't know if some of you are aware about immunohistochemistry and immunofluorescence staining. There's so many hundreds and thousands of images I have, but I use only 5 of those images for my grant or publications. There's like 5,900 images just sitting there and of no use. But you still, when I look at it, I'm like, but this looks so pretty. So this is one avenue where we will give you an opportunity to express your science and then talk about that science. And you can also use, express your like artistic talent to express your scientific ideas. This also helps with what we were talking earlier with visualizing science. When you're submitting a paper, it's mandatory almost, for you to have a schematic or scientific diagram so that you can convince the reviewer that, okay, well, this is what I'm talking about, visualize. Same thing with the grants also. So this is one cohort you can work with. Joanne Lee, who actually does a lot of the logo designing, she's amazing. She's a PhD student in biomedical engineering, and I would connect with her and she can connect you to many different avenues how you can actually start honing the skills right now. So science communication is one, which becomes part of Sandra's and Bree's elevator pitch stuff. But then we are trying to launch GPSM Science SciComm podcast. So that would be one place if you would like to talk about your research for like, we'll give you maximum 5 minutes. And within 5 minutes, you'll have to build this science pitch and we'll broadcast it via podcast. And you can connect, and tell people about excellent science you do, right? So that's the whole about the career cohorts. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Newsletter, stay tuned for now. I have your data. I will put you into the newsletter if you have not subscribed yet. This is the one where we put all the events which our GPS STEM is doing, or all the events which are happening on campus, or now things are happening like you can really attend any event, whatever is happening nationally. You can either go on LinkedIn, Twitter, and look for these events, or we'll try to put all the events in this newsletter so you can just, you don't have to go and search every day for events. You can really pick and choose from these things. Let's see. So you met David. David is part of Institute of Immunology, and he's also a faculty in molecular biology. And I always try to put this slide because some of you might be wondering, like, Harinder, why are you doing this? What is your background? So I got my PhD in cardiovascular biology from Temple School of Medicine. I became a postdoc in neuroscience at U of Illinois Chicago. And I was very active in postdoc association. During that time, I volunteered for a lot of different organizations. One of them was Chicago-based scientists. We started this nonprofit called Scientists. And then I would, maybe you guys should look up Future of Research. This is a nonprofit working on scientists changing science. You want to bring about that change, take all your frustrations out when you're PhDs and postdocs and just translate that into a policy piece and submit that and ask for that change, whether it's funding on academic enterprise, the training, the way it is done, the mentoring or benefits or postdoc salaries, and many different topics you can pick from there. So I was part of that. That's how I decided to do something on these lines as a full-fledged career. So that's about me. And what I'll do is we'll go for the questions in the end. But I want to bring our alumni, Lauren Sheehan. She was part of our program for past 3 years. She recently transitioned into field application scientist position, I think in February or January. Lauren can correct me on that, when exactly that was. And she was a very active member. I've seen her attend many events and go for industry site visits, participate in mentoring program. Now she's coming back and serving as mentor for 2020 mentoring program. And I would like to invite Lauren to come and share her experiences. Anything specific you would like to share with our attendees and members today? Lauren?
Thank you, Harinder, and hello, everyone. So as Harinder said, I'm Lauren. I was involved with GPS STEM from around 2018 to earlier this year, February 2020. And like Harinder said, I'm still involved. I'm now a mentor in GPS STEM. So that's been a great experience. But just a little background on me and how I came about to becoming active in GPS STEM. So I got my PhD at Virginia Tech in 2018. And while I was there, I was really on the path to becoming a PI. That's really all I knew. And Virginia Tech had nothing like GPS STEM there for me to learn about different careers, or even careers that are just different from becoming a PI. So when I joined UCI as a postdoc in May of 2018, that's where I was exposed to GPS STEM, and I started going to different workshops and seminar series and things like that. And I became too exposed to all these careers, both inside and outside of academia, and became enlightened to what I can do with my PhD and postdoc background. So like I said, I became involved in networking events and seminar series and different workshops. And for basically all of 2019, I was applying for careers in industry. And GPS STEM was instrumental in this because I learned how to write a resume. I learned how to make my LinkedIn profile professional. And I also gained a lot of connections through networking at these different events. And ultimately, so I did participate as a mentee in GPS STEM's mentoring program. And that's ultimately where I got the position that I'm at now with a biotech company that's headquartered out in Austria called Lexogen. So I now work as a field application scientist there as of February 2020. But ultimately, GPS STEM got me this job and it prepared me for a life in industry. So that's a little background for me. And as far as maybe some advice I could give you for participating in this program, what I would say is just try to go to almost every seminar. I would say if you have some free time, try to attend, even if you can't attend the full thing, just go. And even if you're not necessarily interested, like I wasn't necessarily, when I first joined, interested in a field application scientist position. And it was more because I didn't know anything about it. But as I started attending these workshops and different events where there was field application scientists, I started saying, wow, this is a really cool career. I would also suggest taking my IDP very seriously. When I first did it, I actually matched with an FAS or MSL career, and I didn't pay too much mind to it because I didn't think that it was true. And here I am now, and I'm completely happy with where I'm at as an FAS. So I would definitely say take my IDP seriously when you do fill it out. And as far as like with GPS STEM, don't only take this as an opportunity to learn, but also to network. My network grew substantially. Thank you, Harinder. And also just due to the GPS STEM mentoring program. I was connected with 3 mentors, and then from there, they connected me to a number of people. So my network has grown substantially after participating in this mentoring program. So I would just suggest, again, get involved with any and all events that you can through GPS STEM, and yeah, take my IDP seriously and see what it tells you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or by email, whichever. I'm happy to talk to